Biodiversity is the variety of living things found in the world or in a particular habitat. It's the web of life and provides us with clean water, crop pollination, and the cycling of nutrients. But when people talk about the main threats to global biodiversity, what are the first things that come to mind? These are all contributing factors, but one of the main factors is often overlooked: invasive alien species. Invasive alien species are in fact the second biggest threat to global biodiversity, second only to habitat loss. Now, these aren't the kind of aliens from outer space invading in UFOs plotting to take over the world, but they are just as scary. Invasive alien species are species that have been brought out of their native environment and introduced into a new environment, where they have negative impacts on their surroundings. These species wreak havoc by disrupting balanced relationships within ecosystems. An ecosystem is a community of species living and interacting alongside each other. When invasive species spring up in these environments, they can disrupt the balance of the ecosystem by outcompeting native species through a variety of factors. The impacts of invasive alien species is estimated to have a global economic cost exceeding $300 billion every year. This is due to the effects on things like agriculture, local biodiversity, and the health hazards that some invasive species can cause. With the increase in intercontinental travel of both people and goods, these invasive species can hitch a ride now more easily than ever before. Despite the efforts of scientists worldwide, the invasive species that are being managed successfully are being replaced by new ones even more rapidly. And it's made even more difficult because of the time delay between introduction of the invasive species and the observed impact. So how can we help this key driver of biodiversity loss from being overlooked? Well, in 1999, the IUCN published the list of 100 of the world's worst invasive alien species, from microorganisms to plants to vertebrates. This is a nice, easy, bite-sized chunk of invasive species that's targeted, so it can be used as a communication tool. The intention was to cause some ripples in the ponds of the big fish at the top, who control the policies, but also to inform the public so that we can take steps to stop the problem spiralling out of control. It's important to note here that these aren't the 100 worst, but 100 out of the worst. It would be nigh on impossible to rank these species in order, because their impacts are just so varied. This list was so successful that in 2011, one of the species listed, the rinderpest virus, a nasty virus which infects a number of species, was declared eradicated, leading to its removal from the list. But that leaves a gap in our all-important list, a chance for another invasive alien species to have its time in the limelight. But how to choose? Experts decided that the best course of action was to whittle it down to just a few species and then put it to a vote. The invasive alien species that occurred most often in national and global databases were chosen and scored on 1, spread, and 2, impact. The 10 highest scoring species were chosen and put to the polls, excluding those that have positive impacts, either cultural or economic. A total of 652 experts from 63 countries voted, and giant salvinia came out on top. This free-floating aquatic fern, native to southeastern Brazil, managed to hop its way across 4 continents and 31 countries in just under 75 years, helped along its way in part by the trade in ornamental plants for fish tanks and ponds. This plant forms thick floating mats on the surface of freshwater systems, blocking light from the water, causing devastation to the plants and animals underneath, and clogging irrigation systems. It has such a fast growth rate that it can double in its abundance in just a few days. So that whole aliens taking over the world thing might not be as far-fetched as we once thought, just the suspects are a little closer to home. But hopefully, with the help of communication, we can promote prevention, early detection, and rapid response, so that we can keep our planet's beautiful biodiversity safe from aliens.